Hey everyone, welcome to Filipina on the Rise. I'm Krystl, host and founder. I really hope you enjoy this next episode. If you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe so that you never miss out on new video content. You can find all episodes on most podcast platforms like Apple, Spotify, Anchor FM, and more. Thanks so much for tuning in and enjoy this next episode. Hey everyone, it's me, Krystl. This episode is going to be a little different. I am holding this one myself, and I am super excited to be bringing us through a journey. I think we can all agree that this year has been different. That's all I'm going to say from what we expected. And we've all gone through so much as an individual, as a community, as a country, as a world. And I actually want to create a sacred space for you to reflect, to see where you've come, what your values are right now, to see what you want to release and how you want to move forward, setting intentions for the rest of this year. So in this episode, I'm gifting you with a guided visualization, reflection, journaling, and intention setting session. If you have a journal and a pen, that would be great. If you don't, you can also go through it on your own. And I just want to give a little background to why I'm doing this, how this started. So around last week, I led a guided journaling session with In Her Purpose for their book launch. If you listened to my last episode with Rose and Jen, we talked about this, and I held a virtual event. It was a guided journaling session, reflection, and intention setting for the rest of 2020. I think the beginning of the year is a traditional time that we set intentions and clarity for what we want moving forward. But I think mid-year is actually a really good time to take a beat and to look back and to calibrate where things are before moving forward. There's no better time to do this than now because 2020 took a big turn for all of us. Layers of things happened from, of course, the pandemic to all these economic changes, the news every day, to racial injustice and the movements that have happened and how that's all taken a toll effect on our personal lives, our well-being, our emotions, our family, our jobs, everything. Just ask ourselves, what happened these past 6 months? How did I respond? How did I grow? We tend to do this at the end of the year, but I think right now is a really pivotal time to do that and to set intentions for the next 6 months. Because believe it or not, we have all changed so much from the person that we were in the beginning of this year. So after I held that virtual session, I actually got a lot of personal messages from people who attended saying, thank you so much. That was so meaningful. Someone said that it helped them get some things out that they've been keeping in, that they know that they were keeping in. Someone said that they started crying out of nowhere. And some people said things came out that they realized they believed in themselves all along. It just took some prodding, guiding. And I think that is exactly what I want to do here. My intention is to make you feel seen, heard, loved, worthy of reflecting, giving yourself this space, and realizing your own internal worth and power to do so. I actually want to highlight the power of asking ourselves questions, thought-provoking questions, and why I'm so passionate about this. Often we are stuck on this autopilot and we have these stories running in our heads that are on repeat, and we can actually miss out on seeing this big picture. And the reason why I'm so passionate about the concept of asking ourselves questions is because it emphasizes that you actually have the tools inside you to answer what you need. We have the tools and we have the answers inside of us, really. They just need some mining and some digging and some guiding to discovery. We don't always have to be pulling from around us for answers, for guidance. Truly, sometimes the answers are really inside of us. We just need to get there. I want to open with my own experience where my passion about asking ourselves powerful questions and journaling comes from. It started in the beginning of quarantine. So I lived in San Francisco, and when shelter in place happened, a lot of us packed up and I moved back down to SoCal to be with my family. And things felt like they changed almost overnight. This world that I've built around me in San Francisco was kind of coming to a close. And all the events, all the scheduling, all the planning, all the priorities I had planned for 2020, which was big. I was like, yeah, 2020 vision. It was all coming down. It was all dismantling. And I didn't know how to process that. I was just all of a sudden home with my family in my bedroom. with like far from my friends. I'm such a people person. I couldn't interact. Yeah, I felt like I was starting to lose my sense of self and my sense of value. Not that I was feeling worthless, but that I was just losing this sense of value. And I connected with Krystl, who I had on the podcast earlier. And one day she texted me a journal prompt, and it was a question that said, who are you outside of your timelines, your plans, your productivity, your schedules? And I'll tell you what, that question broke me. And it broke me because I didn't know how to answer it. I realized I didn't know how to answer it. And while it broke me and kind of reflected this tie that I did have to my productivity and my timelines and my schedules, to my worth, that question opened up this realm for me that became this journey, discovery of myself, of finding out where my true value and purpose lay within shelter in place and quarantine and the whole world changing. After that, when I realized the power of one question to open up these realms, so I actually in the morning started just sitting with myself and asking, what question do I want to be asked? And just letting my soul kind of guide me to what that was. And I would write that down, ask myself a question. And that really highlighted within all this change and everything happening in the world, we can honor our own growth, how we are changing for the better within ourselves. We just need to ask ourselves the right questions. And so that's kind of what I'm going to be doing in this journey. We're going to do some reflection and intention setting. Now, I want to highlight the difference between intentions and resolutions. Resolutions tend to be very goal-oriented, concrete goals, but they tend to be kind of external and short-term and short-lived. Those are definitely useful when they are, but it doesn't really tune back into the internal. And so intentions are about your internal desires. It's about deciding what you want and believing you deserve it. And when we set intentions that are clear and really aligned with who we are and what we want, we are giving the universe something to work with, something to play with. And intention setting, it's not actually about like this output. It's actually you're in receiving mode. Your life becomes open to the right things because you have clear intentions about what you want to receive. I love this quote by author Brenna Yovanov. Intention is one of the most powerful forces there is. What you mean when you do a thing will always determine the outcome. So I want to start with reflections because in order to look forward and move forward, we have to look back. We have to reflect on our experiences in these past 6 months. Boy, have you and I experienced a lot. So this is a chance to go over all the major things that have happened these past 6 months. And I promise you it'll be a lot more beautiful than painful. And we're going to go over lessons learned, hardships faced, what you accomplished, and things that you're grateful for. You want to celebrate the small things and reflect on what's hard. Reflections really ground us to what's important, our values, and are the foundations for our intentions. So now we are going to start our exercise. I want you to get in a quiet space, set up a sacred space around you, and if you have a notebook and a pen, have that. Get in a comfortable position wherever you are, and just get really present. Close your eyes. Place your hand over your heart center. And just see that you're so alive in this moment. Feel being in your body. Get really present. And now with our eyes closed, I want you to breathe in and breathe out. What we're going to do is we're going to do some visualizations. I want you to go right to the beginning of 2020 and who you were. And I want you to think about the plans that you had for this year, your priorities, your expectations, your values. Just try to remember what all those were. Immediately, I think of all the events and the traveling that I had planned and how I was going to be this person that was executing all the stuff and I was going to move up. I was going to meet with all these people. And slowly I had to let that go. And that was really hard. All those flights canceled, all those meetings canceled. All those little successes that I was going to count for myself and feel so good, canceled. So I want you to play those out. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the past 6 months in a glance. I want you to play it out like a reel. Almost like the beginning of a Netflix episode that's playing the last episode, playbacks in glimpses. So now think about the last 6 months, and in chronological order, just play everything like a reel. And as you do this, just let it play. Don't try to put pressure or a narrative on any of this. Just let it all play out in order, these small glimpses, small flashes of what happened. Just let it play. Be in awe of how many things transpired. Don't force something to play. Just visualize yourself going through it. And if you want to, you can start over and let it play again and just see what happened. And as that's playing out, what is your body feeling? What emotions are playing out? As you go through the last 6 months, what is your body really feeling? What is the evolution of you? For me, when I do this, I feel like this little girl being tugged in all directions, trying to make sense of the world, trying to reframe, and having to hold on to hope however I can. I also feel the emotions of confusion and sadness and grief. I also feel strength and family time and enjoying little things. When I play out these past 6 months, I see everything the world has gone through, from how the economy's changed and how my friends and family and their life has changed, and friends lost jobs and people had to move. I see people moving. I see the racial injustices. I see the movements for racial justice and how this country felt divided and came together and broke away. I just feel a lot, and it's heavy. But I also feel there is this resilience. So what do you feel? Just let that play out. And as you do, give yourself grace. You are doing the best that you could. And now I want to ask you, what did these past 6 months bring to the surface? Whatever it was, we can all agree 2020 was a year of change and brought new perspective. And I want you to picture a pool. There's usually things at the bottom, but we can't see it from the top. And over time, that residue, the things at the bottom, slowly floats up to the top. And we start to see what was underneath all along. So just picture things coming up to the surface. What is coming up to the surface for you of this pool? In the past 6 months, what has been brought up to the surface? I think what it did for me is this realization that I don't have control. And it brought up to the surface that I've been needing some kind of change. I was in this place of complacency. It also brought up to the surface, I think, my ability to keep creating light. I just want to keep creating light when there's darkness. So what did that bring to the surface? And so now that we've gone through that visualization, if you have your journal, and if you just want to do this while you're thinking, go ahead. But I want you to ask yourself, what did these past 6 months teach me? And just start to journal. How did you respond? How did you grow? What did you learn? And what are you most proud of? And I'm actually going to play some music to give you some time to journal and some time to think. How did you respond? How did you grow? What did you learn, and what are you most proud of? So I'll let you all journal with the music. Feel free to pause. Okay, now you can just start wrapping up your last thought. No rush. Whew. How are you feeling? I hope you are feeling something, whatever that is. I hope you've gained some insight on yourself and you've come to moments of realization. Maybe something surprised you. Maybe something came out that has been needing to come out. Whatever it is, thank yourself for giving yourself that time of reflection. And now we're going to go on this visualization journey again, one more time. We're going to do it a little different this time. So I want you to close your eyes. And once your eyes closed, I want you to breathe in again. And breathe out. And so we're going to play this reel one more time, but this time it's going to be more focused, more pinpointed. I want you to play out these last 6 months and now highlight, where did you feel low? What were moments of hardship, of grief, of disappointment, small moments that didn't serve you, that you weren't living up to your best self? This isn't to invoke pain. It's just to get really real about what didn't serve you and what was hard. Because we can contrast that darkness with light and just get really real with ourselves. For me, these low points were when I'm alone in my room and the realness of the pandemic and quarantine just came down and how much our world is changing. And I'm playing out these moments of sadness, of wondering when things are going to get back to normal. And for me, what really plays out was this day. It was after George Floyd's murder, following the death of other Black lives. I just broke down crying in grief and in sadness about this issue in our country and racial injustice. I just cried for what our Black brothers and sisters are going through, having to live through this. And so that was a really hard day. I also feel my Lolo passing away over the weekend, and not being able to say bye to him because we couldn't go in the hospital. That was really hard for our whole family, my Lola, and how loss and death happens. Just let it play and be in tune with what you're feeling. And so whatever you're remembering, just give it that space and the grace that it needs, that it happened and that you felt that, and that's because you're human. And we can actually honor those hardships. And now I want you to play back the last 6 months again, but this time I want you to highlight, where did you feel joy? Where did you feel peace and hope? What moments gave you happiness and a sense of wonder? And just let that play out. Celebrate it. I remember it was my mom's birthday and we had to celebrate in quarantine, so I and my sister set up a tea party in the backyard and with flowers, and it was just this beautiful time that our family can come together, and it wouldn't have happened that way without the situation. And I reflect on small moments like playing with my little sister and laughing with my family, sitting around the living room together. I remember me and my dog went to Santa Barbara on our own and just went to the beach and together saw this beautiful sunset. And I was just in awe and inspired by the beauty of nature and felt so alive and present in that moment. And so what moments play out that are just giving you this brilliant sense of joy, this feeling of aliveness, and maybe that things were going to be okay? Really think about that. Honor those moments, celebrate it. Once again, just let yourself feel. Don't put any pressure to create a growth story or narrative. Just remember those moments and how you felt. What we're doing is building a basis of things that really served you and enriched you this year and nourished your soul. Because believe it or not, it's now these shorter, smaller moments that are actually counting and making meaning out of our experiences. I don't know about you, but I've just been taking everything now, like week by week, day by day, and I'm starting to really embrace these smaller movements that can count for something and giving it value. And now we're just going to go through our last visualization. Your eyes are still closed. We're going to take one last deep breath in and out. Breathe in and breathe out. Great. And now I want you to visualize the remainder of the year. Visualize yourself going through it. I want you to release control and just picture, be in your body going through it. How are you feeling? How do you want to feel? How are you carrying yourself? I want you to pull from those moments we just went through of joy, of fulfillment, of peace, from the bank of moments, of things that served you. And so now, the remainder of this year, what are you doing more of? What are you doing less of? Your body is telling you something. There is a sense of longing in your body, whether it's for more of something, more of you becoming, or it's trying to release something. It wants you to release something in the past and not bring it with you these next 6 months. So something that has actually been really powerful and helpful is this question that I ask myself sometimes when I just don't know what else to ask. What is my soul trying to tell me? And the reason why that's so powerful is because it gets the ego out of the way. It just tunes back into your inner soul. It quiets your inner critique and lets your soul guide you. So ask yourself, what is my soul trying to tell me? What comes up? All right, now I want you to open your eyes and we're going to get to our journaling or thinking through it if you don't have a journal. So this last journaling session, answer these questions. What served you? What didn't serve you? When you visualize the rest of this year, how do you want to feel? What are you doing more of? What are you letting go of? What are you releasing? And here's a really powerful one. What word comes to mind when you want to describe the remainder of this year? And I also want you to write down what came up when you asked yourself, what is my soul trying to tell me? So I'm going to go through those one more time. What served you? What didn't serve you? When you visualize the rest of this year, how do you want to feel more of? What do you want to do more of? And what are you letting go of? What word comes to mind when you want to describe the remainder of this year? What is your soul trying to tell you? So I'll let you all journal with the music. Feel free to pause. Okay, now feel free to wrap up your last thoughts. How are we all feeling now? I hope that something meaningful came up for you, that you were able to see what you need to release and see how you wanted to move forward and really visualize that and believe that you deserve that approach to the remainder of this year, that you deserve to feel all those good things. I'm just so curious about what came up when you asked, what is my soul trying to tell me? I remember when we did this exercise and people were leaving the chat box, like all these amazing things that came up about what their soul was trying to tell them. And things came up that were surprising about what they needed, what their soul really desired. That question usually brings up a lot of clarity for me about the direction and the pull that I need to go in. And we find that our souls are a lot kinder and more loving towards us than we ourselves are to us. So now we're closing up on our reflections and I want you to thank yourself and give yourself a hug for letting yourself go through that. Now with intentions, I want to highlight the reason why most of this was reflection setting is because reflections are really important in building the foundations for our intentions, which is our true desires, our innate needs, and how we move forward. Intention setting isn't done over this quick bit. Sometimes something good and really true can come up, but I encourage us to formulate these over the day or the course of a few days after we get grounded. Why? Because intentions must align with who we are. I want you to picture seeds. When we think of intentions and we become so clear about what those are, they are like seeds. And now we are giving something, like I said in the beginning, for the universe to work with, to play with. We're giving out these seeds for the universe to now give their water. We can't control the rain. We can't control the water that comes down, but we are creating the seeds that we want to plant. And those seeds will eventually come up with flowers, which are our outcomes, our results. And we just need to be really clear on the seeds that we're planting. And then we surrender and let it bloom as it does. I actually want you to sit with your reflections for some time. Along with this episode, I'll be providing an intentions worksheet that if you sign up on the link in the show notes, I will be emailing that to you. But for anyone saying, I don't know how to set intentions or a good one, well, yeah, I hope you can join. I'm holding a virtual workshop on intention setting. And just to break it down a little bit, intentions are really answering the who, the what, and the how. Intentions are sending a message about who you want to be, what you wish to contribute, and how you choose to touch the lives of others. Wow, beautiful. So for those who actually want to start intention setting right now, and we totally can, these are some questions you can ask yourselves to set those. Pulling from all the review and the reflection that we just did, ask yourselves, what do I want my life to look like this remainder of the year? What do I want to feel more of? What gave me a sense of purpose? What do I intend to focus on that will add quality to my life, to my intimate relationships, and more? And it's always helpful to look at examples of other intentions. And so here are a few. And I start with, I intend to blank. Some people say, may I, and either way works. I intend to be in tune with the moment. I intend to be humble enough to surrender the things I cannot control. May I have a healthy relationship with my body. May I praise progress and forget perfection. I intend to be the sliver of light that the world could use right now. So yeah, those are a few examples, but ones that really resonate with me right now is I intend to not take things personally. Like that is something I'm really, really working through and somewhere that's allowing me to experience more freedom. Another one that's resonating with me is I intend to trust the process and surrender to the unfolding. Recently I got let go from my job and I actually felt a lot of peace because I'm trusting the process of what this is unfolding to. And in that, see, the power of intention is that I'm not being hung up on scarcity. I have an abundance mindset. Maybe my mind is more open to seeing opportunities and just saying, I tend to trust the process. I intend to trust the unfolding. It lets me just go onward with confidence and belief, and that whatever happens, I don't need to take it personally. I just try my best and trust that whatever is meant to happen will happen. Here's another one that really, really resonates with me. I intend to suspend judgment and accept life as it is in the moment. So something I've been really struggling with, I think, is judging other people. I don't know why, and I don't like it, but when I get in that intention and I just repeat it in those moments, I intend to suspend judgment and to release, then I actually feel free more and I look at other people more with love and with more compassion. And lastly, I intend to praise progress and forget perfection. This one, oh my goodness, I'm always aiming for perfection, even like as I'm editing episodes or if I'm building my profile, like I want perfection, just to release that and tell myself I intend to praise progress. And it just allows you to feel like you're always winning along the way and that you're always growing no matter what you're doing. And so these are examples of how intention setting can set you up for a different frequency of navigating through life in the next 6 months, which I always say to people, mindset these days is everything because we've lost our concept of control, what we traditionally can predict. All these factors that we've used to predict the course of life is removed. And at this point, it's all mindset. So you just need to get your mindset and your intentions so right to set those seeds and just let the universe water them and let it bloom and grow into beautiful flowers, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Anyways, this was really cool to do. I've never led a podcast episode on my own, and I hope that it was a beautiful experience for you. I'm so glad that we can journey together. I'd really like to see this as us journeying together. I'd really like to know what came up for you, so feel free to DM me on Instagram at Filipina on the Rise if you listen to this. Once again, if you want the intentions worksheet, go to the link on the show notes so I can email those out. At 12 p.m. PST is my virtual intentions workshop. You can sign up on the link on the show notes and also follow on Instagram at Filipina on the Rise if you're not following already. Once again, thank you all so much for joining me on that. You are so loved, you are so special, you are so worthy of honoring your growth at this time, of honoring stillness and honoring your own beauty and who you've become in this year. So from the bottom of my heart, I care for you, I see you, I hear you, I'm here for you. Thank you everyone, and hope to talk to you soon. Thanks so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. Feel free to leave a comment and share with a friend. And if you haven't yet, follow us on Instagram at Filipina on the Rise. I love hearing from you all and answering messages. Thanks so much again, and I'll see you on the next Filipina on the Rise.